I'm Peggy Kelly, and this is Good Morning Santa Paula. It's Thursday, November 12th, and I'm here today with Ed Bond, and he is the Executive Director of Certified Human Resources at the Santa Paula Unified School District. And it's fun to have Ed with us today. We haven't spoken to him before, and he's very dedicated to education. I know at one time he was a candidate for public office, so he's very public service minded, and I appreciate that. And Ed, good morning. Wonderful seeing you.
Good morning. Thanks for having me, Peggy.
Absolutely. Now, could you tell us a little about your background and how you wound up in Santa Paula? You're not a local, are you?
Well, I'm a recent local. I've been here. I actually moved here in 2014, so I've been here in Santa Paula as a resident for the past 6.5 years. As far as my career and what brought me here professionally, this is my 25th year in education. I was a teacher at one time. Then I spent about 11 years as a middle school administrator, principal and assistant principal. And then I spent 3 years as a human resources director of the Oxnard School District.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just starting my 3rd month here as executive director in the Santa Paula School.
Oh, wonderful. Yes, absolutely. And now you went to Long Beach State?
I did. I got my bachelor's degree there actually in human resources. So
Okay, I was going to ask what your degrees were in, because it's kind of interesting to start out in the classroom and then go into, you hear about people going to be other things in school districts once they've been teachers, but human resources is a different world.
It is a different world. And I actually got into education a little bit later. I spent about 15 years working in business, and I also served in the military for a few years.
What branch of the military were you?
I was in the Army.
Wonderful.
Active
well, for your service.
Thank you.
Thank you for your service. And yesterday was all about you and all our other wonderful veterans. Now, what exactly, because I'm not really sure in a way myself, what is the role of the Human Resources Department in supporting the district?
Well, certificated human resources specifically is responsible for all credentialed employees in the district. So we hire teachers, administrators, school psychologists, so on and so forth. Our position, our office really is a support position in that we really exist in order to help the schools and students. Once we hire folks, the next step is to make sure that we're supporting those folks, so that we make sure that they're successful. So our job does not end when we offer someone a contract. A lot of people say that human resources is often the first contact someone has with the district, and it's also their last contact. So we like to think that we have a role in between as well.
Now, how many certificated employees are there with the district?
We're just over 300 if you count administrators.
Mm-hmm. So. Okay, and basically too, like you said, that includes anybody who's certificated, as it were, meaning, could you kind of just for the audience out there, what does certificated actually mean? I know with teachers, they have to get a special certification. And
Yeah, certificated is anyone that has a credential through the state of California. So that includes teachers, speech pathologists, psychologists, administrators, counselors, and so anyone that has to get a certificate or has to get a credential through the state.
Okay, wow, yeah, and it takes a lot for. What are the challenges facing Santa Paula Unified School District?
Well, obviously, right now the biggest challenge is sort of the situation we find ourselves in with the pandemic, and that has a lot of implications for instruction, but also for staffing, and I think there's also some socio-emotional support that students and staff need. And so those are some of the challenges that we're facing with a particular situation, but also just the district as a whole. And it's not just Santa Paula, it's most of the state of California is facing a decreasing and a declining enrollment situation, which obviously affects student funding, and it affects how we staff. And so, that's a challenge as well that has to be addressed.
And the district itself has what, decreased by about 7% over how many years or something? I mean, I know it really, like all of them, I mean, this is nothing different from anywhere else, but it really does can carry a wallop. Now, I thought too, it was interesting when you talk about the emotional needs. I know that people that go into education, the main reason is, I believe, is because they love kids and they want to they want to help the future of children and stuff. So I imagine it's very hard when they can't work with the children one-on-one. So you have resources for them to, emotional support resources for teachers and things like that.
We're working on some of those things with the Education Services Department. We have some staff that specifically works on socio-emotional support for students, and we're trying to find ways to get more connectivity with staff as well, because the kids need that socialization of being together in the classroom and at school, but staff does as well. There are a number of teachers that are coming into the site to do their distance learning lessons from the site, and so they are getting some of that contact with their colleagues, but we'd like to do more when we can safely.
One thing that always impressed me about Santa Paula's school districts, and now of course the district, was the fact that the longevity of the teachers is it just amazes me how many teachers retire, from Santa Paula when they started their careers there. And I think it's a real compliment to the community and the district itself. I think that's wonderful. Do you guys have any idea what the average tenure is for any of your teachers, let's say?
Well, I haven't done that analysis specifically, but just anecdotally, when I go around to the different sites and talk to the staffs, there are a number of sites where most, if not all, of the teachers have been there at least 10 plus years, a lot of them 20, 30 years. So that quality is good for the community and it's good for the students.
Yes, absolutely. That continuity. Isn't that wonderful? Now, what do you think the next steps for the district are from an HR perspective, let's say?
There are some challenges that we face in Ventura County just in general. There aren't a lot of universities to draw from when we're looking at getting new teachers. And so something that I started in Oxnard that I'm already starting to do over here is a lot of outreach to the local universities that we do have. I've had a good working relationship with Cal Lutheran Education School as well as Cal State Channel Islands. Last week I participated in the mock interviews for special education teacher candidates, which is a great way to make connections and get to know sort of who's out there. So my philosophy of recruiting is you cast as big a net as necessary to get the people you need. There's some positions you can just kind of open the door and people be there, and there's other ones that are a lot harder to staff, and so you have to basically take whatever steps necessary to get good people. Another thing that I'm looking forward to doing here is creating a recruitment process that really tries to get candidates that align with the mission and vision of the district. So rather than just asking standard questions in an interview, we want to ask questions that really get at the type of people that you really want in the district. So what are some unique things about our district or our community, and what are some ways I can kind of draw that out of applicants to find out if they're going to be a good fit? So
absolutely,
I'm going to be working on.
Now, what do you find unique about Santa Paula community?
Well, as a resident,
you now, I'm going to see if you're a suitable candidate to be on the show.
Absolutely. Well, I'll tell you, one of the things that really struck me when I first came here is the community's acceptance of folks who want to get involved. So, you know, I came here in 2014. By 2015, I was on the Parks and Recreation Commission.
Uh-huh.
I've been involved with the Optimist Club for the last few years, and I think this is true in a lot of communities, but especially Santa Paula. If you're willing to get involved and you want to make things better, the community is more than happy to allow that and to support that. So.
Yes. And Santa Paula has really nice people too. I mean, you know, and that's the one thing that always struck me about it, because, you know, I wasn't raised here or anything like that. And I just thought, oh my gosh, what a marvelous community. So I'm happy to share that with you in the world. But anyway, is there anything I should have asked you, Ed, that we didn't cover, or anything you'd like to add?
Well, I do want to say that, you know, I really appreciate the opportunity I've been given here. I was happy where I was, but when this opportunity presented itself, I thought, you know, this is a great way. When I became an administrator at the district office, I was asked in my initial interview, you're pretty good at your job as a principal. Why would you want to leave that and go to the district office? And my answer to that is still true today. I feel like I can have an impact in more ways at this level and in this position than I could.
Mm-hmm.
And with me, I never lose sight of the fact that everything we do is for children and for the community. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm very excited to be here in Nepal.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, we're excited and happy to have you. And thank you so much for joining us today. And once again, I'm Peggy Kelly with the Mighty Santa Paula Times, and this is our education update. Today we had Ed Bond, who's the executive director of the Human Resources Certified Employees, and he's got more than 300 people he's working with in our school district. If you would like to see this program, it'll be broadcast on Government Channel 10, on Spectrum Channel 10, Cable Channel 10, and also on kadytv.net. And if you watch it at KADY and also YouTube, be sure to like us and subscribe. And that allows us to bring you more broadcasting like this. So once again, thank you so much. Thank you, Ed. Pleasure talking to you. And welcome to Santa Paula 6 years later, but still. And we'll see you all next week, and have a wonderful weekend. And thank you. Bye-bye.